Greetings, my fellow human beings. We are live. This is Live Free or Die, transmitting to you worldwide from deep inside the heart of FEMA Region Number 2 here in Manhattan, New York City. And today, we are covering tons of alternative news. All right, let's get started. Let me give you a quick rundown of what we're going to be covering today. First on the agenda, we got Ron Paul not suspending campaign. It is a media hoax. Memo outlines strategy for influencing party platform at Republican National Convention. Next, we got hidden in plain view. FDA murders 100,000 people a year. Houston CPS forces 4-year-old to take overprescribed psychotropic drugs. CNN hits low primetime demo rating at 9 p.m. in 15 years. New York City police released data showing a rise in number of stop and frisk on streets. Drone almost causes mid-air collision with jet over Denver. FAA investigating. Judge Napolitano says first patriot to shoot down a government spy drone will be a hero. All right, Judge. You got Leon Panetta, the head of CIA. Authority of UN troops trumps Congress in getting approval for war on Syria. That's right. He says Obama doesn't have to go through the Congress. We'll cover that as well. And also, Congressman calls for tougher TSA. That's right. He wants you to get the super grip down on your genital there. And we got a bombshell report. Obama born in Kenya. That's right. They got a BrettBart.com released Barack Obama's biography in Harvard. We'll get into that. Tons of news, I'm telling you, people. Al-Qaeda rebel pictured with UN observers. Yeah, it's right here. You got Al-Qaeda hanging out with the UN. Oklahoma City 9/11 FBI boss set up. They say they may have planted child pornography on his computer, being that he knows so much about the cover-ups of Oklahoma City and 9/11. Because, like I said, we'll get into that because we all know Dime Corps traffics children around the world. But we'll get into that. Judge blocks portion of NDAA. And that'll be our last story. We'll end on some good news. So that's all the news we'll be covering on this Saturday, May 19th, in the year of our Lord, 2012. Today is Malcolm X's birthday, so we will get a little bit militant, a little bit angry. By all means necessary, we will get the info out. Yes, I love it. Oh, look at myself. It's beautiful. All right, let's get into some news. Ron Paul not suspending campaign. It is a media hoax. Memo outlines strategy for influencing party platform at Republican National Convention. As the mainstream media continues to ideologically blather about Ron Paul quitting, the campaign is foregoing ahead. Today, releasing a memo outlining Paul's strategy for the GOP National Convention. So you see, Ron Paul said he was going to stop contributing money for the next primary states because he wants to focus all the money he had for the delegates for the National Convention. This does not mean Ron Paul dropped out. Ron Paul is still in it to win it. He is stealing all of Romney's delegates. He is stealing everyone's delegates, and it looks like he will steal the nomination. So do not believe the main scumbag media. Please do not. I beg of you. I really do. I beg of you. You might as well watch Saturday morning cartoons and believe that. You might as well watch those Spanish novelas and believe that. Ron Paul still has a chance. Do not give up the fight. Do not believe the main lame scumbag media. Because if I had a nickel for everybody who said, oh, I like what he stands for, but he can't win, I'd be a billionaire. All right? And if all those people who said that, I like what he stands for, but he can't win, if they all went out and voted for Ron Paul, guess what? He would win. So get out there, stop believing the main scumbag media, and go vote for Ron Paul. All right? By any means necessary, we will take our country back. If I have to run for Congress myself, then damn it, I will. Nydia Velasquez, I'm coming for your seat, you witch. Ooh, I can't stand her liberal ass. But I got nothing against liberals. I got nothing against Republicans. You see, when I talk to Republicans and then when I talk to liberals and I get some sense into them and I unlock their mind, guess what? More and more of my liberal and my Republican friends are becoming constitutionalists like myself. So the awakening is here, people. We are live and we are not going away. We are going to get in your face. Everyone needs to stand up and join me, please. All right, enough with that. Let's get on to some more news. Hidden in plain view, FDA murders 100,000 people a year. FDA-approved drugs kill 1 million Americans per decade. The FDA is a rogue criminal agency. That's right. You know, prescription drugs kill more people than illegal drugs. What a racket. What a racket they got going on here. It says, Holocaust, add up the figures. Medical drugs cause 100,000 deaths in America every year. That means 1 million Americans are killed every decade by prescription drugs. So before you take your prescription drugs, please go to the more natural alternative. Whitney Houston, look at her. Prescription drugs, Xanax, killed her. And some say the Illuminati, but we got a lot of news to cover. Let's go. All right, Houston CPS, the equivalent of ACS here in the New York City, Children's Services, forces 4-year-old girl to take overprescribed psychotropic drugs. Oh boy. Texas is one of 5 states where children in foster care are often targeted by psychotropic drugs. This is by My Fox, Randy Wallace. Is reporting this. We also had this case here in New York. A ACS worker came out and said how they were giving foster children pesticides and basically till they die. Yes, giving children pesticides until they die. This is unclassified, people. You can look it up online. And, you know, I want to say something about ACS. There are a lot of people who have ACS cases. You know, I'm not going to mention any names, but I was one of those people back when my son was first born. My wicked mother-in-law called on me. But that's not important, you see. What's important is that we stand up when these evil child kidnappers come to our houses. You gotta have the guts to stand up and tell them, get out of my life, you scumbag. You know, all right, maybe be a little more respectful than that, you know, not like I was. You know, I got really intense when they came to my house. I let them know, honestly, if anyone plans on taking my child, I will kill you. I will kill you, because over my dead body will you take my children. But then I had to calm down, of course, and I had, you know, I'm sorry. With all due respect, Mr. ACS lady, this is my child, and you have to know you will not take my child away from me. And she said, quite honestly, she understood. As soon as I stood up for myself, she backed off. You see, ACS likes these people who bow down to them and give up all their rights. Oh, you want to check my urine? Sure, here, take my urine. Oh, you want to come to my house unannounced and visit me? Sure, come by any time. No, you got to tell these people, no, you will not take my urine. It is my constitutional right. And get the hell out, you scumbag, because we all know you're contracted by Dime Corps and you're running child kidnapping rings and you get $4,000 to $5,000 bonuses for each child, okay? Running sex slaves, children out of this country. I know what's going on. Look under the Denver airport. That's where they hide all the damn children. All right, I'm really going crazy today. I told you it's going to be intense. Malcolm's birthday by any means necessary. Oh, boy. All right, let's move on. CNN hits lowest primetime demo rating at 9 p.m. in 15 years. That's right, because the people are waking up. CNN and the mainstream media, Fox, ABC, CNN, you know, all those garbage scumbag media outlets, the ratings are dwindling. And guess what? My ratings and real alternative news ratings are on the rise. I get people on the street who stop me more frequently every day. Yo, I love your show. Or they'll give me like a double take, like a double stare down, like, usually, you know how people are when they're walking in New York City? They got that 1,000-yard stare. They're not bothering looking at anybody. But I know, I can see the people snapping out of it. And that's a beautiful thing. All right, New York City Police, let's move on. New York City Police released data showing rise in number of stop and frisk on the streets. Police officers stopped people on New York City streets more than 200,000 times in the first 3 months of 2012. Now, people, I don't blame the police officers, even though at some point they need to stand up, because they did swear an oath to the Constitution. I blame that scumbag, that evil dictator, that three-term piece of garbage, Mayor Bloomberg. That's who I blame. You want to come and grab people's genitalia and grope them and stop and frisk them? Why don't you get out there and do it yourself, Bloomberg? I tell you. You know? All right, let's move on. Drone almost causes mid-air collision with a jet over Denver. FAA investigating extremely dangerous incident. That's right. They announced they're going to have over 30,000 drones spying on the American people, and that these drones will even be armed with weapons and high-tech surveillance. Oh. And moving on this topic, Judge Napolitano says the first patriot to shoot down a government spy plane drone will be a hero. He blasts illegal use of plastic drones to spy on Americans in their backyards. Judge Napolitano, I gotta tell you, that guy has heart. But, you know, they censor him too. He was the number one show on Fox. And what did they do? They canceled him. Who cancels the number one show? You know why? Because he was telling the truth. That's right. First person that shoots down a drone is a hero in my eyes, too. All right, let's move on. Panetta, authority of UN troops, Congress in getting approval for war on Syria. Defense Secretary reaffirms Obama administration's unconstitutional stance. Excuse me. Basically, this is by Paul Joseph Watson from Infowars.com, and basically he's stating that Leon Panetta was on C-SPAN the other night, once again, telling Congress that he will not go through Congress to go to war with Syria. He takes orders from the United Nations, and so does Obama. You see, Obama is an unconstitutional piece of trash, okay? I will not vote for him. I'm sorry. I'd rather vote for a dead rabbit. And the reason why I say this is because his administration is so tyrannical. So far, in this past 3 to 4 years here when he has been in office, Obama has locked up 7 whistleblowers, basically government employees that came out and spoke the truth about their government being corrupt. And what did he do? He had them prosecuted and thrown in jail. This is unprecedented. Never in the history, well, never in my lifetime at least, did a president or this government lock up government whistleblowers. This is insane. And you people still bow down to him. See, but I see him. I see the emperor has no clothes on. Oh, man. This is insane. All right, Congressman calls for a tougher TSA. We're moving on now. Congressman calls for a tougher TSA. Basically, the congressman wants you to, he wants the TSA to do even a more thorough check on your genitalia. All right, let's take some calls. 212-245-7273. My number is 212-245-7273. We are live. Caller, you are on the air. State your name and where you're from.
Hey, what's up? How you doing, man?
What's going on, Steve? What's on your mind?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, this past Wednesday, you know, I started seeing military troop personnel on the streets. You can drive one of those trucks. You know the truck that you see in Iraq and all that?
Whereabouts, Steve?
Yeah, it was right on 34th Street. It was on 34th Street. It was a police car in front of it, and I just saw, wait a minute, what the hell's going on here? Now, usually when they have military on the street, they're just standing there not doing nothing. Now,
yeah.
as me and you know, that they're not trained to police the population.
Yeah, I've seen them before. I've seen them with guns on their hips down in Times Square.
Oh yeah. Is that supposed to be when they start martial law and all that?
And they get mad when you record them. Oh, they're what this is called is acclimation. They put them out on the streets so that people can get acclimated to seeing the military on the streets.
And remember, they did the exercise with the foreign troops.
Yep, they did that, and they're also kidnapping people in Chicago. For this NATO summit, they have disappeared some of the protesters ahead of the summit. They went into their house without a warrant, locked them up, and disappeared their asses. They're still in jail to this day. No charges, no nothing.
Wow, man, they just get away scot-free.
That's how it seems.
We're definitely on that. And another thing, what about with the re-education camps? Where's the status on that?
Well, the manual has been leaked. The re-education camps are out there. You got Bill Ayers and Obama who support this, and we need to get the word out and awaken our people because the mainstream media refuses to cover it. But I will cover it.
That's right. Oh yeah, you're gonna love this. You know, there's a show that's gonna come on NBC called Revolution. And it's a producer from Iron Man, and he's going to cover a lot of stuff that's going to be coming up in the upcoming days. See, they're trying to do it in movies where they can wake up people.
Nah, it's probably another psyop demonizing real
psyop,
patriots. Yeah. Real patriots like myself.
There was a clip of it I saw on Attack of the Show that talks about everything going out like a blackout with the power grid and everything.
Yeah, that's just more psyops, more acclamation, and they're preparing us for a mass civil war. Steve, I appreciate the call. All right, let's move on. You want to give me a call? 212-245-7273. We are live. All right, let's cover more on this congressman. This is a guy from Alaska, I believe. Let's see. Yes, Rogers, Republican from Alaska, says that the TSA needs to become more invasive. They need to do more groping because of this phony-ass underwear bomber that turns out to be CIA. How you like that? And the mainstream barely reports on it. First, it comes out that he's a CIA agent. Then it comes out that he's a double agent. Right in time for elections. Right in time to enhance the pat-downs. You know. Ugh. All right, let's move on to the next story here. Down with the TSA. Before we move on to the next story, actually, I want to address something. These scumbags at YouTube. YouTube.com, you are scum. Scum. I have a very lovely lady, one of my #1 fans from Oregon. I don't know if she wants me to say her name, but she sent me an email basically stating that any comments she tries to write on my channel or any of my videos, which she usually does on every video I post, they are now being blocked. So I am now being censored by YouTube. Well, she is being censored by YouTube, my #1 fan from Oregon. And this is a travesty, you see. This is upsetting. We need to slowly move away from YouTube. I am also on Daily Motion. I am also on Vimeo because we need to get away from YouTube because they are run by the NSA and the U.S. government. Caller, you were on the air. State your name and where you're from, please. All right. Let's move on to our next story. Bombshell. Obama born in Kenya. This is from Infowars.com, and Breitbart.com reports details that Obama official spokesman via Liberty Agency claimed he was born in Kenya up until 2007. That's right, he had a biography that was released in Harvard back in 1991, and it basically says Barack Obama, the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review, was born in Kenya, raised in Indonesia, and Hawaii. Caller, you're on the air. State your name and where you're from. Hello, caller. I cannot hear you, caller. All right. I guess it's a caller who likes to listen to me. So yes, Obama, the tyrannical there's something fishy going on with Mr. Obama. The heat is coming down on him. You have his biography that was released by Breitbart.com. This is his Harvard law biography. Basically, back then, they were admitting that this man was born in Kenya, and they decided not to correct this until the year 2007, right before his campaign. Okay, so therefore, everything he has done in the past 3 years is void. The NDAA is void. All your tyrannical laws are void. And another thing, why I believe this is because Obama's first executive order, the first thing he had on his mind when he went into the White House was to sign an executive order basically stating that no one, and I mean no one, can search his birth records. So you are the most powerful man in the world, and your first thing that you want to do is block people like me from looking into your birth records. Something's fishy there, Mr. Barry Soetoro, a.k.a. Barack Obama, huh? Yeah. It's time to send you back to man's country. You know where that is, in Chicago, that gay bathhouse, right? Yeah. Tomorrow is the AIDS walk here in New York City. And this AIDS walk highly upsets me, you see. Well, I'm glad there are people out there trying to find a cure, but how many times have I told you there is a cure? Write this down. U.S. patent number 5676977, the cure for AIDS, okay? Dr. Boyd Graves came up with this cure, and everybody's walking for the cure when the cure is right in front of them. Not only that, there's another cure. It's called a bone marrow transplant. Yeah. Google the Berlin patient, where an American man was cured of AIDS in Germany, okay? So get out there on that AIDS walk and let everybody know. Please. Maybe I'll go out there myself. I don't know yet. I don't like these causes and these foundations. If you ever noticed the American Cancer Society and all these AIDS walk societies, they always like looking for the cure that they can never find. But they never go after or never try to find out the cause. What is causing all this, all these cancer rates to skyrocket? 40, 50 years ago, it was 1 in 200,000, I believe, kids had cancer, and doctors would fly from all around the world to see this kid with pediatric cancer. Now I walk down the block and I see little bald kids with no eyebrows. You could tell they just had chemo. And people are not aware that it's the vaccinations causing this. It is the chemtrails. It is the fluoride. It is everything that they are attacking us. They are soft killing us, and we must be aware. We must be aware. All right. Let's move on to my next story. Al-Qaeda rebel pictured with UN observers in Syria. Video also shows rebels transported to UN vehicles chanting Allah Akbar. This is from Paul Joseph Watson. And basically, they have a photo here of a man dressed in all black. He has the Al-Qaeda. I don't know if you could see it, but he basically has the Al-Qaeda uniform, the Al-Qaeda logo on his arm. There are also pictures of them flying Al-Qaeda flags, and even Hillary Clinton admits, yes, we are helping Al-Qaeda in Syria and Libya, but oh yeah, we're still fighting them in Afghanistan. Yeah, right. Al-Qaeda is a hoax. It's all a phony hoax so they can push their heroin on us, okay? Well, I don't use your damn government product, okay? I don't use your heroin, you scumbag. And I'm coming to Bilderberg to let you know that, Rockefeller. Caller, you're on the air. State your name and where you're from.
John, Manhattan.
Go ahead, brother. What's on your mind? We got a few minutes left.
I agree that Oklahoma City 9/11 were false flags, but who's actually running the country?
You got to speak up a little.
Who is actually running the country?
Who's running what?
Who's running our country? You haven't seen.
The Federal Reserve. This country is owned by the banks. The military, they work for the banks. They work for the Federal Reserve. The lobby, the congressmen, the senators, most of them are bought and paid for by the Federal Reserve, Goldman Sachs, and all these banks. And that's what the troops don't realize. Well, most of them are waking up, thank goodness, and there will be an intellectual revolution in my lifetime. I know it.
All right, thanks.
Well, I appreciate the call. We got about a couple of minutes left, so let's move on. Speaking of Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma City and 9/11 investigator, victim of setup. FBI agent busted for child porn. And I think he was set up because even if he was doing this, which I don't think he was, they're not going to take down one of their own. Like I said, Dime Corps runs child trafficking rings. Okay, this was unclassified in front of Congress. So if they don't bust people for trafficking children, what makes you think they're going to bust somebody for a damn little image in his computer? They also say 5,000 employees at the Pentagon have child pornography on their computers too. Yeah, right. Caller, you're on the air. State your name and where you're from.
Yes,
You got about 30 seconds.
yeah, it's Jose. Yeah, is it true that Bush knocked down the towers?
Absolutely. Well, it was Bush. Appreciate the call. It was Bush and the global elite, okay? Bush was just a puppet. Obama's just a puppet. Clinton's just a puppet. These are all puppets that they are chosen by Bilderberg to step up. All right, finally, our last piece of news is judge here in New York blocks portion of NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, which basically states that Obama can disappear Americans, disappear your ass into Gitmo. A judge knocked part of that down. So we'll end the show on a good note. Thank you very much for joining me. God bless America. God save the Constitution. And if you have received this transmission, then you are the resistance. At Republican National Convention. Next, we got hidden in plain view. FDA murders 100,000 people a year. Houston CPS forces 4-year-old to take overprescribed psychotropic drugs. CNN hits low primetime demo rating at 9 p.m. in 15 years. New York City police released data showing a rise in number of stop and frisk on streets. Drone almost causes mid-air collision with jet over Denver. FAA investigating. Judge Napolitano says first patriot to shoot down a government spy drone will be a hero. All right, Judge. You got Leon Panetta, the head of CIA. Authority of UN troops trumps Congress in getting approval for war on Syria. That's right. He says Obama doesn't have to go through the Congress. We'll cover that as well. And also, Congressman calls for tougher TSA. That's right. He wants you to get the super grip down on your genital there. And we got a bombshell report. Obama born in Kenya. That's right. They got a BrettBart.com released Barack Obama's biography in Harvard. We'll get into that. Tons of news. I'm telling you, people. Al-Qaeda rebel pictured with UN observers. Yeah, it's right here. You got Al-Qaeda hanging out with the UN. Oklahoma City. Greetings, my fellow human beings. We are live. This is Live Free or Die, transmitting to you worldwide from deep inside the heart of FEMA Region Number 2 here in Manhattan, New York City. And today, we are covering tons of alternative news. All right. Let's get started. Let me give you a quick rundown of what are we going to be covering today. First on the agenda, we got Ron Paul not suspending campaign. It is a media hoax. Memo outline strategy for influencing party platform. Sorry, we will get the info out. Yes, I love it. Oh, look at myself. It's beautiful. All right, let's get into some news. Ron Paul not suspending campaign it is a media hoax. Memo outlines strategy for influencing party platform at Republican National Convention. As the mainstream media continues to ideologically blather about Ron Paul quitting, the campaign is foregoing ahead, today releasing a memo outlining Paul's strategy for the GOP National Convention. So you see, Ron Paul's 9/11 FBI boss set up. They say they may have planted child pornography on his computer, being that he knows so much about the cover-ups of Oklahoma City and 9/11. Because, like I said, we'll get into that because we all know Dime Corps traffics children around the world. But we'll get into that. Judge blocks portion of NDAA. And that'll be our last story. We'll end on some good news. So that's all the news we'll be covering on this Saturday, May 19th, in the year of our Lord, 2012. Today is Malcolm X's birthday, so we will get a little bit militant, a little bit angry, by all means necessary.